Alright guys, sorry about that. Oh man, tell me I just wrecked it. Oh man. Oh well, I guess I gotta glue that back on there. Broke off my breather on my valve cover there. Well, it's so small you really can't even see it, but I'll glue that back on. As I said before, I was doing some videos on this engine, and something happened and I lost them. So what I'm going to do is just show you what all I used, and yeah. First of all, we start off with the engine itself. It's just the engine that's out of the 67 Chevelle prostreet kit. It's just a kit engine. I painted it aluminum because I wanted it to be an aluminum block, because after all it is a race engine. You want it to be light as possible. I kept most of the kit chrome, or all the kit chrome. If I can get it to zoom in here. I drilled a hole in it and ran aluminum tubing down through the valve cover here, and then I put just some little caps I had on from some kit in a parts box. I put that on there as an oil filler, and then I had one over on this side which I just broke off, as y'all saw, as a breather on there. The headers, we all know, or most of us know how to make the, we call them the Chevy cheeseburger headers, with the soldering wire and aluminum tubing. I have not polished these out though. I don't think I'm going to. I'm probably going to end up weathering these headers a little bit, making them look like they've actually been ran. Just because I did do a black wash and stuff to the engine to make it look like it's been used. Alright, we'll get right in. I did do some throttle linkages on here, and I used a cable stall, as y'all can see there. I don't pull it out of there, messing with it. I'm going to have to fix that. Crap. But I thought I glued that, but I guess not. Anyway, my throttle cable is just a piece of that 30 gauge, I don't remember what I did with it, the 30 gauge wrapping wire that I did on my last video. What I did is I just stripped the end of it so the wire would actually stick out, and that's what's inside of it. Just one single wire. But then I glued me a little small piece of aluminum tubing on there, and I do believe that is the smallest. I don't know what size it is. I can't remember, but I know it's this right here. It's the smallest size you can buy. So I just took and cut me off a little piece of that and glued it on the corner of my my valve cover here for, let's say, my cable to run through. Well, I'll do that in a minute. I ain't going to do it right now. I'll do it off camera. Then I did a throttle linkage on here. I just took a piece of what was it? It's some kind of old wire that I had here. This stuff here, I think it's like a picture hanging wire or something that I've had. I've used it for different things here and there. I don't know what gauge it is or anything, but I just bent it and glued it in place. And then I painted the ends black just so it looked like it was connected up there to something. And then I ran it over to the side of my, you can see down in there, ran it over to my valve cover there, glued it in place, and then painted me some black stripes around it, like it had something holding it in place there. Then I ran some nitrous lines, and you can see the ones coming off this side of the and underneath the carbs coming back, those are going to be my nitrous lines, and then my fuel lines are coming off the sides of the carbs running up toward the front. And what I used for those lines was this stuff here, silver beading wire, 100 yards row. I think you can get this in like 20, 50, or 100 yards. I think you get the 20 for like a couple of bucks. I think the 50 is like $4, and I paid $6 for this, which isn't bad. It's 100 yards, and I could use that. That'll probably last me who knows how long. But you can get this in 0.3 millimeters or 0.45 millimeters, and the 0.3 millimeter will probably work, but in my opinion, it's a little bit small. And this may even be too big, but I think it looks about right to me. So this is the one I got. I have heard of people using the 0.3 millimeter stuff, and it seems to look nice for them too. And then for my fittings here, what I did was I took my aluminum tubing, and I just cut it off in little sections. I've got one laying in this little container here. If you can see it rolling around in there. So I can't get this thing to zoom in there a little better, but you know, it just takes a little bit of piece, and then I put it on the end of a toothpick. I don't think the holes are cleared out on it, so it probably won't go on here, but yeah, it will a little bit. What you can do is put it on the end of a toothpick and just paint it. I use the transparent colors from Tamiya to paint it, and I do know that Aztec airbrush paints, they have transparent colors, but I've never used them, so I don't know how they work. I always use the Tamiya ones. But yeah, I just use it and paint them whatever color I want. In this case, it was blue. The carbs, what I did there was they were chrome, and I used the Tamiya clear yellow, the X24, and just painted them with that, and then I put a good heavy black wash on them to tone the shininess down of them. It makes them, I don't know how realistic they look, but I think they look pretty good. To get that kind of a gold, you know, how carburetors are kind of goldish. Now, I have heard of people mixing silver and gold together and getting the color, but me personally, I've never tried it. I've always just done this, and I kind of like the look of it, so that's what I've always done. I took and drilled out my my thermostat, where your thermostat goes, and just put a piece of aluminum tubing in there, because I'm going to be making my own line coming off a radiator and going in there, and I'll be doing the same on the water pump and the fan assembly when I get that all together. The distributor, the wires here. How I make those is I've been using that that 30 gauge wrapping wire. I really should see if I can find that. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, well, my flash decided to come on, but it's a wrapping wire. It's 30 gauge, and it had all different colors on it. I got this from eBay. I don't remember how much it was, but it was pretty cheap. And from what I could tell, and from what I've heard from talking to other people and this and that, is that this is the same exact wire that you get from Detail Masters and or Parts by Park and all them. They use the same stuff. That's what I've heard, and that's what I kind of think it is too. But like I say, I don't know for sure. Then I cut me off 9 pieces of that, equal length, about, I don't know what, 4 inches, 3 inches, you know, whatever. Then I take and I cut me off a little. This is heat shrink, used for electrical stuff like that. It shrinks when you put heat to it. But I'll cut me off a little piece of that, and I'll just slide it up on them, and then I'll heat it and shrink it just so it holds it all together. Then I'll take me a piece of aluminum tubing, I don't know the size of it or anything. Just whatever you think 8 or 9 pieces of it will fit into. I think it's this size here. I got a little piece laying here. I don't know what size it is. I've got so much of this stuff that, and I just know what sizes I need, or I know how big I need it, so that's just what I buy. I don't buy it by the sizes. I guess if I'm going to do tutorials on the stuff, I should know the sizes, but I don't. And then I just slide my wires down inside of that, and it fits. It fits in there just perfect, and then I can just glue it right together like that. And then I'll have the wires coming out of the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll trim all the wires off except for one, the one that's right in the center, the coil wire that comes all the way through. And I'll cut me off a small piece of this, and then I'll slide that wire down on the inside and stick this up in it, so it'll come out. If you can use your imagination, it'll come out looking like that. It looks, well, let me get my engine here again. You know, you can kind of tell up and underneath there what I got going on there, and it looks, you know, it's not exactly perfect like the parts by parts ones, but it looks very similar. And then you just stick it in there and wire it up like normal. Now normally what I'd do is I'd have boots on here and all that, but I'm thinking that once it actually goes down in there, because of the way this engine is, the heads and stuff are sticking out on it, and where the location of the wires and stuff, you're not even actually going to be able to tell that it doesn't have wires on it unless you're actually really looking. So I didn't put any on it this time. I'll see once I get it in there. You never know, I may pull the wires back off because I just got them sticking in there. I don't glue my wires in. As you can see, I just pulled it right out. I don't glue them in. I could glue them in, and I have had them to pop back out on me a few times while I'm working on the engine, but I just take and push them back in there. Now it's going to be stubborn and not stay. But I normally don't glue them. I just bend them around there and stick them in, and they seem to, you know, work out alright for me most times, except when I'm trying to do it on camera and then it wants to be stubborn. That's okay. Like I say, I always can pull them off, put boots on them, and stick them back in there if I really want to. But I think that's where we're at with this engine so far. I don't think I'm going to do anything else as far as detail-wise to it. I think it looks pretty good the way it is. I'm extremely happy with it. Now, that's the first time I've ever done a throttle linkage. I probably will pick me up some actual linkage pieces and stuff like that as soon as I figure out what everybody else uses and how they get used and stuff. But I got some people I can talk to figure that out. So, you know, the next engine I do that's detailed like this, it may look totally different, I'm not sure. Like I say, it's the first time I've ever put a throttle linkage on, first time I've ever ran fuel lines in that way. So yeah, it's all been a learning experience, and it's been fun. You know, it's been a little frustrating at times, but, you know, it is what it is. You get better every time you do it. So I still got to do my my water pump and my pulleys and belt. But like I say, I'm using the kit ones. I'm probably just going to paint them up and put them on there. I don't think I'll do a video on that. I don't think there's really a need to. And after that, I'll be moving on to the chassis, getting that put together. Now, the reason I've got these fuel lines ran up here like this, and the reason why I've got my nitrous lines tucked back in behind here, is because I did the aluminum fender wells in this car, and I'm going to be doing aluminum firewall. I just want it to look really clean and under the hood. Otherwise, I would have ran my fuel lines to back toward the back of the engine, put a fuel bar up on my firewall, had my fuel lines coming out of that. I would have put nitrous solenoids up on the firewall and had my nitrous lines coming out of that. But like I say, I just want this build to be really clean and under the hood, so that's the way I'm doing it. I'm just making it look like they ran down to like the frame or somewhere else where the fuel rail and all that stuff really was. But that's the reason why I did it that way. I am going to be putting a dipstick on this engine. I just got to figure out how I'm going to get it up and buy my motor mounts, because I'm pretty sure the engine mounts where that divot is in the engine right there, because it's got one on the other side too, and I'm pretty sure that's where the engine mounts are. But yeah, like I say, I'm pretty happy with it so far. But I think this video is long enough, and I'll talk to y'all later.